Well, it's been a while since we've done film discussion, and I can't actually remember when the last one was. This isn't...
When dinosaurs roamed the earth.
It feels like it. Since we were last together, since we last filmed, there's been a lot of film news break, which, you know...
But we were saying it's dubious about how much value that news actually has, well, in the grand scheme of things.
Let's start with we'll get one out of the way, is that the release of the trailer for the remake of RoboCop, which it came out, the trailer came out, I think, either yesterday or the day before, so very recently. And I saw it, and to be honest, I didn't get in touch with you because I knew I'd be seeing you this weekend.
Yeah.
But while I was sat at work yesterday, the phone goes, and I look at it and I get this text, and it's off Sam. And it's words to the effect of, I just saw the new RoboCop trailer and then vomited all over myself.
Fear and disgust.
Yeah. So, I'd already seen it by that point, and when I saw the trailer, I just thought, it looks shit. It looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk to you about that when you got here, and then obviously you saw it in the meantime.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to take a second to talk about that, because it's just another pointless
movie by committee
remake. Yeah, if you haven't seen the trailer already, go and check it out. But I don't understand why they're taking RoboCop and remaking it, because does the world need another RoboCop movie?
No.
The first one was so good. You know, we had 2 disappointing sequels, and God knows how many sort of straight to DVD movies that
we had
did.
the Canadian TV show,
yeah,
which apparently was alright.
I've never seen it, but
apparently it's better than you'd think.
Yeah.
And then of course you had the animated show. That was really good.
That went well.
No. And the toy line and the line of birth control products, you know.
Yeah, I think you're confusing RoboCop for JLS. I can see how it's difficult to make that distinction, but
RoboCop's white.
But yeah, it's another pointless remake, and it's, you know, we've had so many come out recently. I mean, one of the sort of better remakes to come out recently is probably The Evil Dead, which I need to
see that.
But even that, it's like, as enjoyable as it is, and it is enjoyable, it's a perfectly serviceable horror movie, it's pointless. Like, why remake it? You know, it doesn't need it.
The thing is, horror, when you want to look at genres, horror was the genre that was synonymous with remakes.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, just to segue slightly, when you talk about horror remakes, it started in the 2000s with Platinum Dooms and the remake of Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah. Which actually wasn't bad.
I have time for it.
Yeah.
I have time for it. And you went, yeah, that's alright. And you could understand why that was revitalised and redone, and then they just started chucking them out. But you're right, because I know you could say horror's not even horror. Cinema's always done remakes. I mean, look at The Thing. The Thing is awesome. It's a remake of Thing from the world.
Well, the Thing and like Cronenberg's The Fly, that's how you do a remake. You know, you take the source material and you do something different. You don't just rehash shot for shot the previous movie. I mean, look at another remake that's on the way out, Oldboy.
Yeah.
You know, which again looks dreadful.
Oh dear.
And what I don't understand about that movie is that, you know, Spike Lee has gone on record several times and he said, look, it's not a remake, it's a reimagining of the source material. Bullshit. You look at that trailer and there are so many shots which are straight out of Patch.
The box shot.
Yeah, he's bullshit. It's a remake. It's just ridiculous, you know, why bother?
And the thing is, and I won't give spoilers for it if there's anyone left on the planet who hasn't seen the original Oldboy, but also this, you cannot do that ending for mainstream audiences. You just can't. They won't accept it.
They won't, but they'll change it, because you look at the trailer and it looks as if it's going to go a different way. Not to spoil it, but even from the trailer it looks like they're going a different route with it. Yeah, so, but it's just another pointless remake. And what do these remakes have in common? Samuel Jackson is in both RoboCop and Oldboy. Like, what's he doing?
It's a seal of quality.
Yeah.
There's 2 words why they keep emerging. If you can just put on your Hollywood corporate head, brand recognition. That's what they say. It's a brand. We can market it.
But it's like RoboCop. I mean, for sort of your cinema-going teenagers now.
Yeah.
do they give a shit about RoboCop?
No.
I mean, it's a franchise. It's like you had a TV show. It's got comics and it's got sequels, but has it really had anything in the last like 10 years?
Not of any great consequence.
Because what baffles me is that the target audience will no doubt. I'm assuming it's going to be rated PG-13.
Oh God, yeah, you could tell that from the trailer.
So that target audience isn't necessarily. I mean, they will have heard of RoboCop. It's RoboCop. Everyone's heard of RoboCop.
And again, when you compare it, because we were talking about this with the original RoboCop, the whole thing of RoboCop was it was Paul Verhoeven, ultra violence.
Yeah.
I mean, you look how Murphy's dispatched in the original, and you still sit there and go, ooh. And in this, it's a car bomb and it's an ice CG explosion. In the original, he had bits flying off.
Yeah, it's still the original is still hard to watch. That scene, it's brutal. But I just think it's now at the stage where it's literally just recognition of the name is enough to greenlight a sequel, because it's like I say, people will recognise the name RoboCop, but I can't imagine that today's cinema-going kids are going to have that much of an affiliation with RoboCop.
Justin Timberlake as fucking Mighty Mouse. Put that shit into production, greenlight that shit.
Make it happen! But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I saw that trailer for RoboCop and I just immediately thought, like, we're through the looking glass now, you know.
Through the looking glass here, people.
It's just.
Well, that's what I was saying. That links into what Spielberg said, hasn't it? That the cinema industry's in for a big rectal prolapse of an experience. Yeah.
See, what I'll do, right? You explain for the viewers, because I've not read up on this. So you fill me in while you fill them in, not in a dirty way, unless you want to. In which case, flick over to a different sort of channel.
It's going hard, kids.
But take a minute to explain what Spielberg said.
But basically, I've read around this, and this might not be a like for like quote. And bear in mind, Spielberg, he doesn't just make movies; he has his feet in a lot of different areas, things in a lot of different entertainment pies. So you could say he sees things in a very wide context. He's more of a mogul now than a filmmaker.
I see him as like the headmaster of Hollywood.
That's how everyone sees him.
You know, like when Megan Fox kind of got out of line, she got sent to the headmaster's office.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. So my name is Spielberg, and you're saying a director's worse than Hitler. Shit won't play. But the thing is, Spielberg has basically said, Hollywood's doing it massively wrong, the budgets are too big, and the stories are too small, and people are gonna stop going to the movies. It's gonna collapse. It's like literally the idea of almost like the universe expanding. It can only go to a certain point. I would argue that this is right, because these movies are costing more and more to make, making less and less return. I know there are exceptions where you've got what they call the $1 billion club, like the Avengers,
Dark Knight, Avatar.
But the thing is, you've got to spend huge amounts of money to make huge amounts of money. You can make a lot of money with lucky accidents, like a movie like, I didn't see it, but a movie like The Help last year. Costs not a lot to make, made an awful lot of money. Les Mis, big budget.
I mean, it helps though that those movies had awards buzz.
Yeah.
I think they got a much bigger marketing push, because you look at the $1 billion club, and they've probably spent however many times the budget of a normal film on marketing alone.
Yeah.
You know, and
it's all invasive. It's everywhere. I mean, we've seen examples of how that's gone wrong, because I was telling you, I think it's something like 4 of the biggest box office bombs ever are in cinemas right now, or have been recently. I mean, Lone Ranger, I can't remember. I know Lone Ranger's one.
That's what we mentioned, actually. Sorry to digress a second, but it's just occurred to me. Like, we were talking about like the Lone Ranger and how certain people. I think Johnny Depp had said, look, this had been written off as a bomb before it had even come out.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, it was on at the cinema. It came out on the Friday. Well, I think the previews were on a Thursday and its release was on a Friday, which is how it usually happens over here.
I know we had it for a week.
Yeah, we did. The thing is, Laura and I were going to go and see it.
I was.
Yeah, and when we literally, the day, because we go on a Wednesday because you get the 2 for 1.
Yeah, of course.
So the Wednesday came around and we're like, right, what time's it on? Oh, it's been taken off.
Yeah.
So it's not. It makes you wonder if there's something behind that, like, did they want it to be a bomb? Is there some sort of financial like bargaining shit being used here where, you know, we'll put it in screens for the absolute minimum amount of time, which must be a week.
Yeah.
And then we'll take it off. And so it didn't have the opportunity to make its money back because it was there for a week. We were literally getting ready to go out and watch it and then realised it had been taken off.
I mean, John Carter is another one. John Carter was in Blackburn, and that was a huge budget. I mean, it was last year's Lone Ranger. I mean, the interesting thing is they're both done by Disney. Disney hits the biggest, but also crashes out the biggest as well.
Spectacular.
Pull up. But it is... Sorry, I just got a weird image of Mickey Mouse like, we're gonna die! But it is literally a thing of John Carter had a week. A week, if you don't see it, that's fine. Because that, I would say, all these people with the internet, and we go, oh, we have the power to make a movie and make a movie a success. I don't think they do. Case in point, Scott Pilgrim. I've said this before, but I do think internet buzz, negative internet buzz, can't make a movie, but it sure as fuck can break one.
Apparently so. I mean, it's like you cited John Carter there, and then obviously the Lone Ranger, and in the last couple of years, there's been a few movies like that have just completely crashed and burned.
Yeah.
But I do wonder if with the Lone Ranger, because people were making noises about it being a flop before it was even released, because it's like, how can you possibly know before that opening weekend? Like, how can you know whether or not it's going to be a flop? Surely it depends on who can be asked on release day going to the cinema.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure you can't anticipate that, but the fact it was only on for a week suggests to me that there was a plan there for it to fail.
I mean, me and you were almost in Boris talking about it. I remember I broached it to you, I'm like, dude, I've seen the Lone Ranger trailer, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, it looked dumb as a doornail or whatever.
It looked like a ride. It literally looked
it's
like a summer ride.
Just looked fun. I mean, because I think you do as well. I really like the first Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I have a lot of time for the first Pirates movie.
I mean, the sequels got stupid or whatever, but the first one's
Empire on a boat.
the first one was actually a fun, old-fashioned swashbuckling.
And I expected nothing when I went to see that movie. I was dragged by my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, I'm not bored. This is amazing. Yeah. And now I'm entertained. Excellent.
But now it just seems that movies aren't, you know, given that chance almost.
I think almost as well, audience members have unrealistic expectations. Because so much money has been spent, because the marketing scheme is so invasive, so you start to like, change my life. Go. It's a movie, people.
Yeah. You know what? I've literally forgotten what the original thread was that we were on.
It was the RoboCop remake. We're playing jazz.
It was RoboCop remake.
RoboCop remake. Is Hollywood imploding because of brands and remakes? The thing is, me and you came to the thingy of there's a lack of good scripts floating around.